was talking to a bishop from the Church of England at one point, and he said to me, "So what do you do?" So I said, "Well, I am a passionate biblical scholar. I preach regularly. I'm a reader in the Church of England. I'm a member of the General Synod. I'm a canon of various cathedrals in the Church of England." And I went on with my very long and quite dull biography. And at the end, he asked me exactly that question.
Are you in ministry?
So have you never felt called to ministry? At which point
I can see what's
almost
coming
grabbed
here.
him by his neck to say, yes, I have been called to ministry, and guess what? I'm doing it. It's just that I'm not doing it in an ordained capacity.
Sure.
I'm a layperson. And
Yes.
one of my big passions is actually for everyone to learn the confidence to say, I'm in ministry. And I think everyone who's a Christian is in ministry. So my first answer to your question is, yes, I have felt called to ministry, and yes, I am doing it. But what
Just
you're
not
asking
specifically ordained.
have you
ministry.
been felt a calling for ordained ministry? And also, yes, I have.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a really interesting experience because it confirms me in my ministry that I now do, that it was I had an unfortunate experience in which the person I was talking to had what I think were the wrong ideas.
Okay.
She thought that it was at the time when women were newly ordained into the Church of England, and she thought it would be really dangerous to have academic women in the Church of England. You
Okay,
should just have kind of nice pastoral women.
Okay.
So she said to me I had to choose whether I wanted to be an academic or whether I wanted to be ordained.
Interesting. Okay.
At which point I stuck my nose in the air and walked away. And what was quite interesting for me was that the choice was clear. There was no doubt in my mind that I was called to academic theology.
Sure.
And if I had to choose, I would choose academic theology over pastoral ministry. She was quite wrong. And the church does need academic women just as it needs academic men. It doesn't mean need just academic women or men, but it does need them.
Yeah.
But what was really helpful for me is that was really clarificatory. Is
Right.
that I chose academia
Yes.
with the door open that at some point God might call me to ordain ministry, but never has. And that's great, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. When did your passion for theology and the Bible and specifically the academic study of it kind of emerge? Was this in your teens?
Kind of in my teens. I was a weird teenager. Probably much still weird now, it must be said. And, you know, when everyone else was off partying and doing what teenagers do, I was at home learning Latin and Greek because I felt like it. And I thought I wanted to do classics. I've always loved Latin and Greek, you know, really kind of passionate about it. And so I prepared myself for applying to university to do classics. And I actually had the form in front of me. And I got to the box where it said, what subject do you want to do? And I thought classics and wrote theology. And it was one of those real kind of
How interesting.
vocational moments.
It was
where,
like you were going all the way along. You were like classics. And then at the point you filled the box in,
I wrote theology.
you wrote theology.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
obviously I had to kind of do a big, quick rethink about where I wanted to do it and what all that was about. And it was one of those it was most remarkable experience of God.
Yeah.
Where I was almost as though I felt someone else was moving the pen
Wow.
and writing theology.
How
So that was kind of one experience.
Yeah.
Is I've loved ancient texts for a long time. I always loved the Bible. You know, I was brought up loving the Bible. And so those two came together. But the other thing, which was a really important point at that stage, was so therefore I needed to work out where to go to study theology. And I rather fancied going to Oxford. I went to school in Moss Side, where you don't normally go to Oxford from. And I went, well, why not? And various people went, oh, you'll never get in from Moss Side, so my personality went, oh, won't I? So I thought, well, why don't I apply?
Yeah.
But because I didn't know anything about Oxford, nothing in kind of my experience told me anything about Oxford University, I rather superficially chose the college that I applied to by whether it had a lake or not. Because there was one right at the back of the prospectus that had a lake. And I went, oh, it's really pretty.
looks
I fancy
nice.
going there. So I applied for it.
And which college was it?
That was Worcester College.
Okay.
Where it so turned out that N.T. Wright was tutor.
That was a fortuitous
Yes, wasn't it
kind
just?
of...
Well, you could call it what you like. Fortuitous, or maybe God had something to do with it, going, you know, God, the lake. And from there, my absolute love of New Testament blossomed. It is impossible to be in a room with Tom Wright and not get excited about the New Testament. I had 3 years of him exciting me about the New Testament.
Well, that is, I mean, yeah, what a great start to that. Evidently, N.T. Wright, Tom Wright, has had a big effect then in shaping possibly the way you've gone on and the kind of focus you've had. Obviously,
Yes.
his focus being on the New Testament, especially in Paul and all the work
Yes.
he's done on that. And you similarly have also gone on and
Absolutely.
focused.
Yes, that's right.
in
Yes,
that
and
area
Paul
as well.
is. I mean, we have a slightly different area, whereas Tom's. Does Tom have a specialist area? It is
That's everything,
the world and everything. But his most specialism is kind of Romans type literature,
Yeah.
whereas my specialism is 2 Corinthians.
Yeah.
But it's a fine difference.
Tune in to the Profile Interview in association with Christianity Magazine every Saturday at 4 p.m. only on Premier Christian Radio, where faith comes to life.